What's up, guys? It's Sean with National Sports Entertainment, and I want to go over today's games as well as some of yesterday's. So, we closed out the Astros one. I went over that in my last video, as playing a fourth leg just isn't, in my opinion, worth it. Now, on the Portland won. For once, the half point worked in our favor. Portland lost by 5, so we were able to sequence out, and we were able to get the half point helped. So that's nice. And I noticed that they wound up closing, like after I did my video, probably like 20 minutes before the game. It was at 4.5. So you'll know if you notice little movements like that. A lot of times that half point makes a difference. I go over that in my videos. That's why I often buy points. Here was one. I was closing it out anyway. So we did a small parlay for 35 on the Astros Mavs. Of course, in hindsight, you can say, the Mavs money line would have been better or whatever the case may be. But I just figured the value was there to win back the sequence. But the Mavs didn't come through, so we missed that one. We did get the Astros. As I said, I did not see the Astros losing. It just didn't make sense to me. And those are really my only picks for yesterday. Now, as you can see, I have a ton of future bets. I have basically most of what I have right now. I'm going to have to... It's about 500 just tied up in governor races and senator races and in some football games, some football futures. I've gone over Hendon Hooker. If you haven't yet... I put not a lot, but I put a decent bit on Hendon Hooker to win the Heisman. He is about 50-50 odds with the rest of the field now. He's moved up. And Tennessee is still getting 7.5 to 1 to win the whole thing, and I put a decent bit on them. I also put a decent bit on on Portland, essentially, to do well, win the division. And if you watch my governor and my senatorial videos, my gubernatorial and senatorial videos, you'll know my opinion on them. And I'm putting out my last one, my House videos, next. I also have videos on wrestling, wagers on wrestling, which I'm gonna go over later today or tomorrow for Crown Jewel. Now for Rice, based off of a metric I use very often, their game tonight, I like the under. And it's because, again, you just don't see teams finish with a particular record with the over or under. You see they're 7-1 on the over, 87.5. I don't see that holding, so I did put, that's one of my futures. I do have Rice on the under. And as you can see, I think we have a couple open sequences. So for that, I can't remember which one. It might be this one. Yeah, because this one wound up missing. I can't remember. But I had only put, at the time, 30 on it. So we'll just keep it a new sequence for now. And then any old sequences that aren't closed out, I can kind of go ahead and close them out. I like to wait for the best metrics for legs 2 and 3. But I do like the Rice under here. And I haven't even looked at the over-under when I made the bet. I thought it was like 60-something. I could be wrong. But I just made the bet because of the metric. I didn't bet it because of, I think it did 28. I didn't bet it because of these teams. It's just I don't think Rice goes to 8-1 on the over. Of course they can. I just don't think they will. And then I do like, this is another one that I like I think too many people are going to be picking, in my opinion, the team getting 13.5 here. So this is tonight's game. I do like the Eagles, and I do like them minus 13. So it's 13.5. I did buy the half point. So in my case, it was around like $32. I think it was to win about 28, something like that. Now, you don't have to. I think it's 27 actually. You don't have to buy that half point. I just did in case it's exactly a 13-point game. So I think a lot of people are going to be on the Texans just because of that number. They're getting a lot of points, and it's not like they're the Steelers like last week where they're just a horrible team. They have a bad record, but they have been known, if people watch them this year, to stay pretty close in these games. So they've covered the spread more often than I think they're 3-2 or something against the spread. So getting that many points, a team that's doing pretty good against the spread. I could be wrong. Let me see. Yeah, they're 3-1. I think that a lot of the public's going to be on them with those points. So the Eagles, I think they have a decisive win. I'm looking more at Washington. I think next week when they play Washington, there's your potential upset. So that's really all I have. For basketball, there's only 2 games tonight, and the 2 I like are the Magic with the points and the Thunder with the points because, again, you know my theory. It's not even a theory. I mean, it's basically proven. But they're not great, but 4-3. Oklahoma City's not just a great spoiler, more so in my opinion, than one that is bad against the spread. And same with Orlando. They're playing teams that are slightly better against the spread in Denver, and in the other case, it's the Warriors. But again, you have these teams that I consider them spoiler teams. Almost everyone is going to be, I think, on the Warriors, unless they're giving up like 15 here, just because of how bad the Magic have played. And I think we're going to have the same thing happen. If you noticed in a lot of these NBA games, and I'm starting to pick up on this trend, you're better off going with the team getting like more than 5 points. Because so many of them finish within like 2 points, I've noticed. So I do like Oklahoma City to cover, as I do the Magic. I've noticed that they've decided to go in these games with more points. The odds just seem to be really in favor of the teams that are getting the points. I've noticed that the Mavericks have a couple times I picked them, and what happened was they just couldn't cover. When it's around 5 points or more, it just seems that there's a great chance that the team covers. So we'll see if that metric holds, but I do like both of those underdogs at home to cover, and I'll go over everything else later. So take care.